Okay, Sonic, I know it looks bad, but you're gonna have to put it down. That thing, it's dangerous. You have got to put it down. Put it down! Hey there gamers, today we're going to be looking at this amazing device, the Arcade Nano. It is a little Sega Genesis compatible device, and I don't have super high hopes for it, to be honest, because I have used something like this before in the past and it did not work out well. So I do not have the highest confidence in this item. However, it does look interesting and I thought I'd show it to you. You don't see these very often. Hey, let's start with the front of the blister package. Arcade Nano, video game console with built-in Sega games. Genuine arcade-style joystick, hours of fun playing Sega games on TV. The way that those words are arranged is really odd. It's kind of hard to read like that. 10 games, including columns. 52 plus play levels to select. Dallas from the podcast told me that he really likes columns quite a bit. So that's interesting. Plug into TV. Plug and play. Columns for Sega Genesis. We'll be back to this device in just a moment. The back of the pack. Blister pack. Get it?
Please stop.
Columns 3, Flicky, Arrow Flash, Dr. Robotnik's Mad Bean Machine, or Mean Bean Machine. 5 bonus games you'll probably hate. Plug into TV for big screen fun. Or don't plug it into a TV and just stare at the lump of plastic.
This is terrible.
Alright, let's open this uppus. Open this uppus. It's my Latin, by the way. Opus uppus. Good stuff here. You learn a lot from this station. How to speak Latin is not one of them, because I don't know how to speak Latin. Here is the semblance of a manual. Not too bad, really. At least it's in English. It's a fire core. I know how you guys love the fire cores. Next we have the device itself, which is on a keychain. That's gotta be one of the most bizarre implementations of... Here, wait a minute, let me show you this. Wait, look at how bizarre that is. That is a bizarre keychain layout. I guess the idea is you put this on your key and then this just clasps to it. I don't know what they're going for here. Or else maybe you can just do this instead of this. Why would you put this on a keychain anyway? Because you'd have to take this cable with. Anyway, we'll just keep going on and try not to think about it. Alright, so here's the RCA cable. It's about 3 to 4 feet long, so it's kind of short. Also, it is pretty darn flimsy. The plastics here are really thin, so I'm gonna guess the metal inside is thin. That would make sense, right? Also, if you look at these heads, this is really pretty bendable. Wait, it's not as bad as I thought. It's a little bit better than I thought, but still, these are very thin, which worries me, because that could be interference. Here's the controller itself. Everything is self-contained. Requires a screw to get the AAA, I believe, yeah, AAA battery in here. You know what? It's pretty cheap plastic, but I will say that the joystick does feel better than the similar one that I've tried. This does feel like they at least made some kind of attempt. The buttons are concave, not convex. All of them are concave. They're a little bit on the cheap side, but they don't necessarily feel bad. The spacing's kind of weird though. And then we got that start button. On off switch on the front, and a little video out cable action going on. I suppose let's plug it in and play it.
Retro Rob plays everything.
And here we are at the main screen of the Arcade Nano. Look at the excitement, the greatness. I'm just can't wait to get going. Anyway, we've got columns on here. We've got columns 3 on here, Mean Bean Machine. I guess what they promised is on here, but then there's some kind of rip-off games. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 5 of them, and we'll try out 5 of the games that are available and see what we think of them. Alright, so quick note, you press this button right here to start a game, not A, B, X, or Y. I also want to note that the battery that I got with this was dead. So I had to go find my own battery for it, even though it includes one. How sad. Alright, here we go. Columns. And we'll do arcade. And we'll start on easy. Hints will be given until level 3. And line them up. And I'm pretty sure you can do them, yeah, as long as they're connected. It only goes down the line though. That's kind of sad. I was hoping for a shake up there. Very exciting. We could do what? Hours of this. Hours, I say, of gem dropping action. In case you've never played this before, this is very similar to Tetris, except instead of matching shapes, you're matching colors. This is a genre onto itself these days, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's a good game. There's absolutely nothing wrong here. And just for the record, the controls are working pretty good. The fire button works. The little tiny joystick works okay. Better than many of the Famiclones I've had. So I'm going to give this a pass so far. Let's go on. And here we have Arrow Flash, which is a really cool little shooter, and it's fun. And it controls well with the controller. I'll be darned, it's really not missing a beat. This is kind of one of those games that for whatever reason, it shoots wherever I like to go. Like, it's pre-programmed, I can tell. So once I know the shot's going to come out there, it's going to come out there at the same time. You get what I'm saying? It's going to come out in the same place next time if I let them survive. So I know where it's going to go, but it's like they play tested this a bunch of times and figured out where people most likely will go when the ships come out, and then they fire towards that area.
What are you talking about?
Pretty nasty way to set up your game. But this is really fun, and it's really good, and works pretty well. Unfortunately, the sound doesn't work really well. I don't know if you noticed, but there's no sound coming out of this thing, and I tried plugging into both channels, and I tried cranking up the volume, but so far, I have no sound out of this thing. Alright, so here's something I just noticed. All 5 of these games are Arrow Flash, and they're just different levels. Come on. Alright, so here we have Flicky, where I collect a bunch of little tiny birds and make my way to the exit with them. It's a little bit like Mappy, if you've ever played that. But not like so similar. It's different enough to be its own game, but there's definitely similarities here. That was terrible. I can't believe I did that. You basically avoid these cats, or lions, or whatever the heck they are. One of the more frustrating aspects of the game is it has kind of floaty controls, and since the enemies are really fast, it can be really hard and frustrating to do. That said, again, that's not a fault of the controller. The controller is working quite well. Let's go on. Meet Cross the Road, where you are tasked with, well, crossing a road. It's not an amazing game. It's not absolutely terrible, but of course it is a Frogger knockoff and not a great one at that. The good news is, if you think the first, I don't know, few levels are kind of boring, which they are, there's like 3 or 4 more of these on the system, that are started at different levels, much like Flicky and much like Arrow Flash. So you can just start out in the middle if you want, which is what I would generally recommend if this is what you really want to play. One annoying thing about it is you press A to go up, and then B goes much faster. And there's no going back so far as I can tell. So, yeah, great. Cross the road. Look at this intro. It's Maze 2010. If you put an A in there, it would be about corn. That would be pretty impressive. So, this is kind of a poor man's Pac-Man. But why can't I go up? What is he doing? I don't know what he's doing. I can't. There we go. Oh, goodness. This is one of those games where you can get, like, stuck in the walls constantly. Ugh. Yeah, this is pretty bad stuff. And it's on a timer, so they made it kind of artificially hard, I guess. Wait, if I just... No. See, I'm pressing up, but he's just turning off to the side at every junction. So apparently I have to press... Yeah, look... No. Alright, you know what? The controls make almost no sense whatsoever. you do press up, down, left, and right to go those directions, but sometimes it appears to just stop in the middle. Yeah, and then go off on his own. I don't know whether to blame the controller or not. It worked well in other games, so I think I can only blame the control on the programming of the game. This is not very good. Welcome to Fish Tank Live, the most exciting game you'll ever play. One can be forgiven for thinking this might be like Frozen Bubble or that Bubble Puzzle Bobble. Yeah, Puzzle Bobble, but it's not. It's a breakout clone. It's not a bad one either. It's kind of fun, a little bit like Arkanoid, except cutesy. Not a bad game, not amazing or anything, but the controls work pretty well and it's decently enough implemented. It gets fast really quickly though, and it makes it a little bit harder to play. You can see how fast the ball's moving, and it's kind of hard for an digital stick to keep up with that. It would be a lot easier if it was an analog control, you know, like a paddle or something. So it does get fast too quickly. Too bad. But not terrible. Alright, let's get a verdict on this thing. So what is the verdict on the Sega Genesis AtGames Firecore, keep naming it, Nano Arcade? Well, it's a mixed bag as it often is with these things. Construction is fairly shoddy. Heck, the sound didn't even work on this thing. I wiggled it a few times and got it working a little bit at times, but I don't know if that showed up in the video. So the cord, which is cheap and junky, was obviously pretty defective in this particular one. Overall, the plastics are pretty cheap on it, even the power on off switch. However, despite that, the controls work pretty darn well. To be honest, it didn't miss a button press at all. They worked kind of great, really. They were fun to play. All right. I said it. As far as the games go, there were indeed 10 games. I counted it out after the duplicates, so they weren't false advertising. Some of the games are really pretty crappy, but some of them are really pretty exceptional as well. So that's okay. I like the inclusion of the keychain, but that's kind of weird because you're going to need a cable, so I don't know who would carry it on their keys except for, you know, just like having appearances. What are you gonna do? Just put this in the... I don't know. It's one of those things. It's an impulse purchase. Anyway, for less than $10, it gets thumbs firmly sideways. Might be fun to play with for a while, but there's better products available at a cheaper price. I want to thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more. And I'll see you in a couple days. Bye!